Welcome to the Scratch Golfer's Mindset Podcast. My name is Paul Salter, and I'm a triple-digit golfer on a quest to become a scratch golfer. I'm also a high-performance mindset coach and credentialed hypnotherapist with 15 years of experience helping high performers from all walks of life get unstuck and unlock their full potential. Join me each week as I not only detail my journey, but make mastering the mental game of golf simple, tangible, and relatable so that you can overcome the mental hazards keeping you stuck in the proverbial bunker of poor performance. Hey, fellow golfer. Welcome back to another episode of the Scratch Golfer's Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Salter, the golf hypnotherapist. Let me tell you, I have been struggling to recall what day of the week it is, what time of day it is. It has been such a whirlwind of an adventure with our newborn. As of recording this episode, he is officially 2 weeks and 1 day and has been so much fun and just a ball of love, a tremendous experience to say the least. And I'm poking my head out to get this podcast done ahead of time because I've really been ruminating, chewing on a particular topic that I feel is going to have great relatability and positive application to your life. And we're going to get into that in just a moment. But I need to first remind you that we are about 6 weeks away from the first ever Mental Game of Golf virtual summit, a one-day transformational event where myself, surrounded by 6 phenomenal minds in the golf mindset and sports psychology space, are going to share the virtual stage, if you will, to come share the practical insights, information you need to know to help you begin making playing to your potential a habit. And the tickets for this event are just $97 until January 6th, in which the price will go up. And you can snag your seat and access to the recordings, the resources, and the notes by simply visiting the show link below. So if you want to get a hands-on, intimate experience, the opportunity to ask questions directly to myself, to the likes of Josh Nichols, Matt Stillwell, Michael Leonard, and more, then what are you waiting for? I can't wait to see you at the first ever 2025 Mental Game of Golf Summit. I'll see you there. Now, for the remainder of this episode, we're going to get incredibly specific. We are going to narrow our focus. And we're really going to get down to the granular and addressing the concept of tunnel vision. And specifically, I want to talk about the benefit, the how to, and the why about cultivating strategic tunnel vision. Now, I don't know what your experience is like, but mine personally, for the longest time growing up when it comes to relating to this term tunnel vision, was actually a negative, or by no means was it positive. And what I mean is I used to often hear in jest, this individual developed a sense of tunnel vision and they were unable to see the big picture. Because of the tunnel vision they developed, that narrow sense of focus, they were unable to see the answers, solutions, and possible opportunities that were merely in front of their face, but they were so intensely focused on their story, their lens, their perspective, they were unable to see all the possibilities and solutions floating around them. I'm going to tackle tunnel vision from a different angle today, which is why I'm being very intentional in my word choice and specifically labeling it strategic tunnel vision. I know to be true, and I need you to accept and understand to be true, that if you want to achieve your goals, truly push yourself beyond your comfort zone and tap into unlocking your potential, you need to understand why and how to be able to flip the switch and develop strategic tunnel vision. The way that I'm going to define strategic tunnel vision, and then I'll give you a bit more of an I don't know if scientific's the right word, maybe a bit juicier of a definition, but the way that I'm going to define it is an intense, intentional narrowing of focus, which channels maximal awareness and available energy to a common point of focus. Again, an intense, intentional narrowing of focus. Again, it's intentional. It's gathering all of your cognitive bandwidth and readily available energy and directing it through one channel, one lens to achieve a specific outcome. You might also think of strategic tunnel vision in the game of golf as a psychological narrowing of focus where you become overly fixated on a single aspect of the round, the hole, a shot, or your game. This might be a narrowing of focus on a particular aspect of your swing, achieving a specific score, or avoiding a particular mistake. Again, it's intense, intentional focus. You're putting up blinders intentionally to remove distractions. If you know anything about horse racing, and to be frank, I know absolutely nothing, but this fact has always stood out to me. And if you are an avid horse racing fan, please correct me if I'm wrong. But it's my understanding that some of those the big three races you see nationally televised every year is they literally put blinders on the horses to have them not have an opportunity to be distracted by what's going on in the horse to the left with the horse to the right. They can only see what's in front of them. There is intentional blinders placed in to develop strategic tunnel vision so they can only focus on what's in front of them. Because the problem is, and you're going to see, and it's my hope I make this clear, that strategic tunnel vision is needed on a micro and a macro level. Quick example, then I'll proceed. On a micro level, we can decipher and pick apart every little nuance of the swing all day long. So on a micro level, it's lasering in on one aspect of your swing. On a macro level, it's I'm committed to becoming a scratch golfer and winning my club championship, which I am joining a golf and country club in January. So more on to that. It's just getting real. But then on a macro level, my strategic tunnel vision is allocating my attention, intention, and energetic resources to achieving that one goal, letting other goals that aren't as important, interests rather than commitments, fall by the wayside. When we talk about strategic tunnel vision, one of the benefits and the goals achieved by cultivating strategic tunnel vision is the elimination of distractions. And that is so critical because if you're anything like me, it's very easy to suffer from shiny object syndrome. We get all excited about our idea, our goal, our approach, our commitment, and we go all in. And after, whether it's 3 days or 3 weeks, it starts to get hard. The process becomes a bit monotonous. And all of a sudden, there's this beautiful shiny object or shiny idea, a different approach all the way over there. It's like, wait a second, I'm abandoning ship. I'm going to go pursue that one. And what happens is we start and we stop. We start and we stop. And I used to see this when I was a high-performance dietitian all the fucking time. It would drive me nuts, I would see somebody develop this strategic tunnel vision. You know what? I'm going keto. I am 100% committed to following a ketogenic diet. And, they lose the massive amounts of weight the first couple of weeks because there's no carbohydrates, water, or, glycogen in their muscle store. So it looks like this significant weight loss real quick. And then it's like, oh shit, it takes anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to get into ketosis. So I'm carbohydrate depleted. Carbs are my brain's primary preferred energy source. And oh shit, I actually love like donuts, pizza, cereal, and oatmeal. Yeah, I don't know why oatmeal made that list. Let's be honest. That was me. I love oatmeal. Not many people love oatmeal. But the point is, after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is, and shit gets hard, it's like, you know what? I'm not doing keto anymore. I'm going to follow the paleo diet. And then after 3 weeks of that, it's like, you know what? I actually am going to become a vegetarian. And it's flip-flop, back and forth, back and forth. And if you're a fan of The Office, you'll get this reference in the episode at Jan's house when Michael and Jan are hosting. It's the snip, snap, snip, snap. Yeah, I hope that you got that. I hope there's a great Office fan listening out there. But the point is, it's start and stop. 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. And if you don't develop strategic tunnel vision, a strong ability to focus and eliminate distractions and ruthlessly take action towards your goal, you're going to remain stuck. This is why you listening have been stuck more or less around the same handicap for so long. You try this swing technique and then you try this swing coach. You try this technique, you try this strategy, but you abandon ship prematurely before you get to actually experience the benefit. And here's the beautiful parallel between the dieting and the weight loss world and the world of golf, is there are 1,000,001 different ways to lose weight. Keto, high carb, low carb, high fat, low fat, paleo, vegetarian. There are 1,000,001 different ways to successfully and effectively swing a golf club. The one that works best is, of course, the one that's most unique to you, but it's the one that you're willing to remain committed and consistent to. The one that you follow through on and conquer some of the initial uphill battles and headaches that are thrown your way that are part of the natural learning process. When you're able to see things through, you overcome that hurdle, so to speak. And then you start to experience more benefit, more progress. It feels a little bit more natural. It feels a little bit more comfortable. And then you create a positive upward spiral. You get to capitalize on that snowball effect. So the way that we can bring in some further depth of the benefits of strategic tunnel vision is talking about cognitive information load. I think this is incredibly important for you to understand. Let me just take my sip of coffee. So strategic tunnel vision is highly beneficial from a cognitive information load capacity because from this perspective, it aligns with how your brain processes and retains information. And first and foremost, when you practice strategic tunnel vision, you better manage your available cognitive resources. You manage them more effectively, which leads to faster and deeper learning. And let me share a few reasons as to why this occurs. First and foremost, just the act of strategic tunnel vision is going to reduce what's known as cognitive overload. So you have a limited capacity for processing information in any given moment. This is also known as working memory. When you try to juggle, countless stimuli, pieces of information, whether it's swing thoughts, strategies, or technical adjustments, you begin to overwhelm your cognitive capacity. This can lead to confusion, mistakes, frustration, uncertainty, fogginess. So the solution is focusing on one approach at a time, which allows your brain an opportunity to allocate all of its resources to understanding, executing, and then reinforcing a single concept, which can prevent overload and rapidly ingrain the new technique to improve performance. Building off of that, strategic tunnel vision is going to help deepen your skill acquisition. Let's be honest, from proficiency to mastery, the gap there is repetition, repetition, repetition. When you use strategic tunnel vision to hone in on one specific intentional act, one of the highest quality repetitions that you can possibly execute, you're able to build neural pathways far more effectively. And as a result, your brain gets repeated specific feedback, which accelerates this transition of a skill from conscious competence to unconscious competence, or from conscious effort, where you're constantly thinking about things, to automatic or unconscious performance. And that's a fun place to be when you can step up to that golf ball after selecting your target, seeing your shot, and effortlessly swing in what feels like in the blink of an eye, you're already walking towards that drive that's landed in the middle of the fairway. Moving on, strategic tunnel vision is going to not only enhance, but simplify your decision-making. Let's be honest, there's no shortage of information and variables to potentially weigh and consider with each shot, hole, and round. This can be overwhelming. This can cloud your judgment. Strategic tunnel vision is going to allow you to simplify your decision-making by narrowing your options. You can focus on one aspect, bring one intense intention, which ultimately reduces mental clutter, allowing you to make clear, fast, effective decisions. Really, really good. The byproduct of that? Oh, higher quality shots. Oh, feeling more confident. And again, now you are stuck in that positive upward spiral. Really, really good. And to further build on that, when it comes to making strides, experiencing improvement in your game, strategic tunnel vision is going to encourage not only effective practice, create an atmosphere for deliberate practice, but collectively, that's the fucking recipe to experience accelerated results. If you're anything like me early on in my golf career, I had scoured YouTube and Twitter and Instagram for all of the different ways to swing a golf club and the drills I should be doing. I felt like I was going to show up at the driving range with my 2 alignment sticks, a towel, a bucket, this training aid. And all of a sudden, I had 16 different drills in my mind that I was trying to execute simultaneously. Guess what? Nothing stuck. So strategic tunnel vision, operating through that narrow lens, I'm focusing on one precise aspect of my swing. That's it. I get really comfortable. I grease that groove, strengthen and ingrain and deepen that neural pathway so that by the time I'm ready to focus on the next aspect of my swing that needs improvement, the other one I just spent so much time deliberately practicing has shifted from conscious competence to unconscious competence. It's happening automatically. I spend very minimal energetic bandwidth to get that task done. So I've just shared with you many benefits, the value behind cultivating strategic tunnel vision on a micro level. But I also do want to take a moment just to again address the macro level. And you're going to see this reflected in more of what I share at the turn of the year. Really still trying to take December to lay low, maximize family time. But I can already tell you my goals are almost finished. They're not completely finished, but the reverse engineering to achieve my golf goals, the amount of time already blocked on my calendar, the strategic action steps that are clear and potential obstacles already solved has such a depth to it. Because on a macro level for me, 2025, my one big, hairy, audacious goal is all things golf. Dropping my handicap as dramatically as possible, participating in and winning tournaments. You're going to see this unfold in how I'm choosing to spend my time and my energy. And if you want a great idea right now of what your top priority is, pull up your calendar. That is, assuming you're keeping a calendar in some capacity, virtual or handwritten, you absolutely should. But your calendar will tell you quite quickly what's important to you. Is it blocked with exercise and self-care time? Are there blocks for personal development, learning, reading, coaching, mentorship? Are there blocks for family time? Are there blocks for rest, play, recovery? Your calendar is a very quick, great indicator of what truly matters to you. You might say A, B, and C what matter to you. However, your calendar might actually reflect it's more like X, Y, and Z matter most. So there's a quick tidbit too. If you're really going to prioritize whatever your goal is for the new year, your calendar should reflect that. And you'll see more snippets of mine as the new year unfolds. So as we move forward with this concept of strategic tunnel vision, I want to just really outline again some of the key takeaways I just shared, the benefits of developing strategic tunnel vision. First and foremost, it's enhanced focus on a specific goal. Whether your goal is to become a scratch golfer, break 80, break 90, or make this particular nuanced adjustment in your takeaway. Strategic tunnel vision improves mental resilience. It allows you an opportunity and mental atmosphere that is free of negative self-talk, doubt, distraction, which ultimately helps you maintain emotional resiliency, cultivate confidence, focus, and presence. That in of itself is a massive momentum builder, which helps you to quickly move from proficiency to mastery to particular skills and nuances of said skills And the benefit, the gift, keeps on giving after and beyond the golf course as well. Because what happens is you're building confidence, you're cultivating presence, focus. You are in control of how you're spending your mental energy to cultivate focus and awareness on demand at the snap of a finger, the blink of an eye. And that's a powerful place to be. So what are your practical takeaways here? Well, first, it's my assumption, and I know you're not supposed to assume, that you're picking up what I'm putting down. There is tremendous value in cultivating strategic tunnel vision. The one relatable lens through which I'm going to share an action step with you is it's so easy. Let's talk short game, for example, or maybe the tee box, the driver is another very commonly searched one. There's no shortage of different techniques and approaches to enhance or adjust your driver technique, your chipping technique. And there's no shortage of videos, no shortage of coaches readily available to teach you and to teach you well how to execute specific aspects or techniques. My challenge to you is to commit to one coach, commit to one video series, one particular aspect of a technique or one particular technique taught by one specific individual, and stop watching, reading, or listening to any other resource around that intentional focus for at least 30 days. Just do that. And here's an example. If you have a swing coach right now, and he's helping you work on aspect A of your game, and when you're not working with him, you're on Instagram, you're on YouTube, watching 15,000 videos also on how to implement or do aspect A or avoid mistake B, you're creating too much conflicting information. You're stretching your cognitive bandwidth beyond your capacity, and things remain cloudy. Things remain ineffective and inefficient. So cut out social media. I'm dead serious here. Eliminate distractions. Focus on exactly what you and your coach are working on. And when you have questions, when you need video feedback or additional resources, go to your coach first. Let he or she be the one who sends you intentionally curated resources that align with his or her thought, approach, and philosophy that they know to be true will be effective in helping you continue to gain proficiency in that particular skill. When it comes to a macro level example, I've talked about this before, probably early on in the first dozen or so podcasts, I believe. There's a significant difference between being committed to a goal and being interested in a goal. Strategic tunnel vision requires you are committed. One of the greatest obstacles to developing strategic tunnel vision is you feel like you have a dozen goals. Bullshit. You're interested in a dozen things. You're interested in vacationing here, learning Spanish, playing pickleball 3 times a week, becoming a scratch golfer, this, that, the other. But what the fuck are you committed to? That's what matters. Fuck your interests, drop them, leave them by the wayside. Less is more. You cannot cultivate strategic tunnel vision for a dozen different goals or interests. You need to get clear on what is the priority. This list should be very short. 1, 2, maybe 3 things. That is where you pour your time and energy and effort into. That is what allows you to cultivate strategic tunnel vision. Otherwise, your 9 additional interests, they're floating in the background. They're distractions. They're temptations. And that doesn't set you up for success. I sincerely appreciate you listening to today's episode. I know you found it valuable, and I'd greatly appreciate you. I task you, I challenge you. Share this episode with a friend, a fellow golfer. And if you haven't done so already, take 30 seconds, leave a genuine rating, a review about your experience listening to this podcast each week. It goes a long way in supporting the show, and I genuinely appreciate it. I wish you a wonderful week and weekend ahead of practice. I will note, if you're going to be at the PGA of America show in Orlando, Florida in January, hey, reach out on Instagram, on Twitter. Let me know. I'll be there. I'd love to connect with you in person. Maybe see if we can squeeze a round of golf in. We shall see. It'd be a wonderful experience, to say the least. Have a fantastic day. Hit them straight this week, and I'll catch you in the next episode.